All right, let's talk about one of the most incredible birds in the Andes, the Andean cock-of-the-rock. We all know the brilliant male, he's basically a celebrity, but it turns out there's a whole secret world we've been missing, and new science has just given us a peek inside. It completely changes the story.
So when you think of the cock-of-the-rock, this is probably what comes to mind, right? The male. He is an absolute showman, a total rock star of the cloud forest. He's famous for putting on one of the most spectacular, jaw-dropping courtship displays in the entire animal kingdom. And his fame goes way beyond birdwatchers. This bird is so iconic, it's actually the national bird of Peru. They call it the gallo de las rocas. It's a symbol of the unbelievable biodiversity of the Andes, and it's so important you'll even find it on the country's 200 sols banknote. That's serious star power.
Yeah, this is the bird's public image. That crazy, vibrant orange-red color, that almost cartoonishly large crest. I mean, look at it. The males all get together in these special spots called leks, where they have dance-offs and sing-offs to impress the females. It's a full-time job for them, and they pour all of their energy into it.
But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. After all that performance, after he mates, the star of the show just vanishes from the picture. He doesn't help build a nest, he doesn't sit on the eggs, he doesn't raise the chicks, nothing. So, what happens next? What is the secret life of the family he completely leaves behind?
So now let's meet the real hero of this story, the mother. Because while the male is off being famous and flashy, she is the one taking on the colossal task of raising the next generation, and she does it completely on her own. I mean, just look at this breakdown. The division of labor couldn't be more extreme. The male's entire job description is look good and dance. But the female? She's the architect, the bodyguard, the incubator, and the sole provider. It's an absolutely immense responsibility that pretty much defines her entire life. And you can see that responsibility reflected in how she looks. Unlike the male's ridiculous look-at-me outfit, the female is dressed for survival. Her dark reddish-brown color is the perfect camouflage. It lets her melt into the shadows of the forest, keeping her and her super vulnerable chicks safe from predators. It's not drab, it's tactical. For the longest time, the details of her life, of that nursery, were a total mystery. But now, a brand new study has given us this incredible, unprecedented look inside, using data from 38 different nests across Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia.
And where she builds that nest is absolutely critical. These things are architectural marvels. She makes this shallow cup out of mud and roots and literally glues it to a steep, slippery rock face, almost always hanging right over a river or a creek. It's basically a fortress, designed to be almost impossible for any predator to get to. Inside that carefully built fortress, she lays, on average, just 2 eggs. Think about that. Only 2 chances each season to pass on her genes. The stakes are incredibly high. And her intense commitment starts right away. The incubation period lasts for 26 days. For almost a solid month, she has to stay on those eggs, keeping them warm, keeping them safe, only sneaking away for the quickest trips to find food for herself. But once those chicks hatch, her job gets even tougher. The nestling period is a surprisingly long 40 days. 40! That's well over a month that these tiny, helpless chicks are stuck in the nest, 100% dependent on her for every single thing. So just how dedicated is she? Get this. The study found that during incubation, she spends, on average, 87.3% of her day on the nest. That's just an unbelievable level of focus. It really shows you just how demanding this single-parent job is. Now, okay, keeping chicks alive and growing for that long requires a serious amount of food. And this is where the new research uncovered what might be the biggest secret of all, something that challenges everything we thought we knew about this bird. Yeah, 40 days is an eternity for baby birds. They need a ton of protein to grow that fast. So you have to wonder, are fruits and bugs really enough to get the job done? What in the world is she feeding them? For years, the story was simple. The cock-of-the-rock was basically a frugivore, a fruit eater. And that's true. They eat a ton of fruit and are super important for spreading seeds through the rainforest. We knew they supplemented that with some insects, beetles, butterflies. It seemed like a pretty standard, gentle diet. But the cameras that the researchers set up to monitor these nests, they captured something else entirely. Something completely unexpected that just redefines our understanding of this iconic bird. For the first time ever, scientists got photographic proof. The mother wasn't just bringing back fruit and bugs. She was bringing back, well, something a lot bigger. The new items on the menu were
Frankly, shocking. We're talking small lizards, snakes, and even the babies of other bird species. This beautiful, famous bird isn't just a fruit eater, she's a predator. This high-protein diet is very likely the secret weapon that lets her successfully raise her chicks through that marathon 40-day nestling period.
So all these secrets, the single mom doing it all, the fortress nest, the shocking predator diet, they're more than just cool facts. They are absolutely critical clues for ensuring this bird's survival in a rapidly changing world.
As the researchers themselves said, you simply can't protect a species if you don't really, truly understand what it needs to reproduce. And for a bird with a life cycle this complex and demanding, the stakes are incredibly high.
And here's the biggest threat it faces: the destruction of its cloud forest habitat. They need huge connected areas of forest to survive, and their very specific needs make them extremely vulnerable when those forests get chopped up into little pieces. This is exactly why this new research is such a game changer. It tells conservationists precisely what needs to be protected. Not just any patch of forest, but specifically the forested creeks with those steep, rocky walls for their nests. It shows us they don't just need fruit trees, they need a whole, healthy ecosystem that has lizards and snakes and other birds. And it confirms that their long, delicate nesting cycle means that any disturbance can have a truly devastating effect. So we've pulled back the curtain. We now know the real story of the cock-of-the-rock isn't just about the flashy male. It's about the tough, resilient, predatory mother and her incredibly well-guarded nursery. The secrets are out. But the real question now is, will we use this knowledge to protect the complex world that she and her entire species depends on?